All right. Should be live. Everything should be working. Adjust my webcam a tiny bit. Wow, my hair. Oh, that's a mess. Should have fixed that in the bathroom before I actually came out and got on stream. All right. Welcome to Crushin' It, everybody. Hope everyone is having a great night, whether you are watching this after the fact or you are watching this live. I hope we're having a good night. We are going to be previewing the Broncos versus the Ravens. That is a game that kicks off at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, so that's one of the 1 o'clock games on the East Coast. Boy, this will be an interesting game. A lot of people definitely have the Ravens penciled in for a win here. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's nearly as cut and dry as a lot of people are making it out to be. And I will get into those reasons why very quickly. As you can see on the side, I don't know if I'm pointing the right way, but on the side I have each team's rankings for, kind of where their units are hitting right now. So boy, man, we got a doozy. So Denver's offense obviously hasn't been the greatest this year, though they've been kind of picking up steam. They are sitting 19th in total yards. They are 24th in passing. I believe that's yards per game, and then 13th in rushing. Or no, that should just be total numbers. So passing offense getting out of the dumps. I think they were like 25 or so last week or a couple of weeks ago. So that is good to see. And then 13th in the rushing game as well. So that'll be cool as well if they can keep that going. Although we'll get to my keys to victory for Denver here soon, because again, it's not going to be nearly as cut and dry here. Defensively, Denver 7th in total defense, 6th in passing, and 11th in rushing defense. So that is what, they're a good unit. They are a good unit, and I think Vance Joseph is getting more out of them than the sum is better than the parts, is what I'm getting at here. Baltimore, on the other hand, the offense is absolutely clicking. First total, 4th in passing, 1st in rushing. They are top 2 in almost every category, other than passing, but even then they're top 5. And then you've got their defense, which I think is the game changer here, because the Ravens defense is both really bad and really good. They stop the run like nobody else. The Ravens rushing defense is like second to none. I want to say the last time I checked, they were only giving up like, what even was it? I want to say last I checked, they were only giving up like 70 rush yards per game. I can go look that up. I should have had that somewhere. Rushing yards per game. Yeah, they are giving up 69.9, so almost 70 on the dime, and that is per game. The Ravens are not giving up anything right now on the ground. Passing, however, is where the Ravens falter a little bit. They are the 32nd ranked passing unit in the league, and that has tanked their defensive ranking in total yards down to 26, which is funny because they have the worst passing defense, but they have a really good pass rush. So that is interesting. The other kind of nice thing, or I guess not really nice thing about this, but something that I find solace in is Bo Nix is actually second, tied for second in sacks taken this year, in a good way. I want to say he's only taken about I want to say he's only taken 11 this year. So if the offensive line can continue to protect him the way that they have this year, and if he can move around in a smart manner, I very much think we could see another really good game out of Bo Nix here. And I think that's going to hinge on whether or not he can find Cortland Sutton. I think him and Nix are finally starting to kind of get on the same timing. I mean, Sutton had 100 receiving yards last week. First 100-yard receiving game we've seen out of him in what feels like forever, I feel like. It just hasn't felt like he's looked the same, I guess, and that could be just all the kinks getting worked out and everything. But I'm not gonna dwell on that too much. So let's get into a couple of different matchups here and who I think kind of wins each matchup, because again, so you've got like Denver's offense versus the Ravens defense. Denver's not going to be able to run the ball, and I've kind of come to terms with that. Denver is not going to be able to run the ball at all, so that will be, I guess, something to keep an eye on, because they're going to try to. They're going to stay patient with it, but they are not going to be able to run the ball well unless Jaleel can crack a couple of big ones, because Javonte did not look good against the Panthers, who I don't think are that great of a rushing defense. I mean, again, this is something I can go check here. But Javonte looked bad against the 32nd ranked rush defense in the league in terms of yards per game. So if he looked bad against the Panthers, he is not gonna look good against the Ravens, unless by some miracle the world decides to flip over on me. On the flip side, I think this Broncos passing game has a real chance to actually develop here a little more against what is the worst pass unit in the league. And granted, the Panthers aren't much better of a passing defense here. Granted, they are better as a passing defense unit by just around, I think it's just under 60 yards, just on some quick mental math. So, potentially, we could see another really, really great game here out of Bo Nix. So, I'm excited to see where that could lead. And this could be game of the week. I mean, this is unstoppable force meets immovable object on one side of the ball, Denver's defense and the Ravens offense, and then you've got what is a movable object versus a stoppable force in the Broncos offense and the Ravens. We'll give the Ravens pass defense the movable object label here. But yeah, this should be a really exciting game to watch. I'm excited to watch it. I think it's going to be the biggest test that the Broncos face up to this point of the year. And whether or not, I think this game is going to determine a lot of my feelings towards the season, because Denver has not beaten an opponent that is 500 or over. Besides Tampa, I want to say Tampa's over 500 or 500. They're one of the two. But other Yeah, 500. So other than that, the Broncos haven't really beat a quality opponent all year. And that is, I think, really this is going to be the first real test they get. I mean, they've been on this nice little run of wins here. They've won 5 out of their last 6. And now they get to go play a real team. And this game has serious playoff implications. That is the other crazy thing that I really like is boggling to think about is 9 weeks into the season the Denver Broncos are playing a game with playoff implications. And that is the craziest thing to me because I don't think I've been able to say that in years. Maybe after maybe at last year after I want to say at this point we were 4 or 5 games into that 5-6 game winning streak, however long that was. But like that felt fake is the thing. This feels real. This feels like a team that can go into these places and win and take advantage of a bad defense. And I think especially because the pass game has been developing a little more. I mean, we go pull up like Bo Nix's recent string of games here, if I may. 280 versus the Panthers, and they are a better defense, a better pass defense. 164 against the Saints. I wouldn't say he was exactly part of the game plan during that game. I guess not too much. He did miss a couple of throws there that you don't like to see. And then against the Chargers, really the second half is where I'll key in. Finishes 216, finishes hot. You get the Raiders to 206, 2 scores, looked good there, had a 117.2 rating. He's on a 4-game run here of like decent to good to great games. And he is coming off his best so far with, a rating just under 125, completing 75% of his passes. He looked like Oregon Bo Nix, and that's what I'm excited to see is that if the Broncos can continue to develop this against a quality opponent, to see if they don't let the pressure get to them, because this is a pretty, stakes filled game here. Denver has a real chance to make a statement with this one, and I am really excited to see if they can actually go in and do the thing. So really this game is going to come down to which of their best units can do something first. I think can the Denver defense hold Lamar and co to not a shit ton of rushing yards. The Ravens are running for like 200 yards a game right now, if I remember correctly, and it is absolutely boggling. So for Denver to win this, it really what they need to do right now is they absolutely need to hang on a minute. What is okay? There we go. So the Ravens running for 200 yards a game on the dime. So there's that. I also want to say they're second in points per game to the Detroit Lions. So can Denver's defense hold the Ravens at bay, and can the offense take advantage of what has been by far the league's worst passing defense? And I might be making a slight hot take here. I think they can. I really think they can. And in fact, I am predicting a Broncos victory here. I think this is a game that the Broncos can very much win. This is a very winnable game, and I think out of their next 3, this might be the most winnable, or one of the most winnable, just because of how bad this defense is and how good I truly think this defense is. I think this is a team that can rise to the occasion. A lot of these guys battled Denver out of a 1-5 hole last year, and I think that resilience is going to keep them grounded enough to be able to get a win here in Baltimore. I want to say they are playing in Baltimore. We'll go check that. Well, I didn't even know that. I want to say they are in Baltimore. It's a rough place to play on the road, but it's not as bad as Seattle, really. And again, like this is a further developed Bo Nix against what is an awful pass defense. And if the Broncos offensive line can keep the Ravens pass rush at bay, I want to say they were tied in like the top 5 for sacks. So yeah, if Denver's O-line can keep Bo Nix upright, and if they can take advantage of what has been an awful Ravens pass defense this year, I think Denver can win this. And I'm not going to say they win it convincingly, but I'm thinking a score of like 20-14, 20-17, maybe something more akin to 21-17, 24-17. Like this is a very winnable game. I'm going to call it 21-17. I This is the kind of game that I think can turn into not a low scoring game, but definitely, kind of your average scoring game, I guess. But yeah, 21-17 Broncos is my call. So yeah, that is going to end the stream. This will also end the VOD. Obviously, I will re upload this as a VOD. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video, the live stream, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you kind of like this new live atmosphere, all this interface stuff over here. I like it. I think it looks nice. But again, let me know. Let me know what you think. And with that being said, I will see you all after the Broncos hopefully beat the Ravens. After the Broncos hopefully beat the Ravens. So again, with that being said, I hope everyone has a good night. Go Broncos. God bless Bo Nix. And I will see you next time.